Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Keep It or Sell It. As you know, I'm thinning the herd with all of my amps here, and I want to make room for other amps that I want to have on the channel. And I'm trying to decide on which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to sell. And today on the chopping block is the Peavey Invective 120. Let's get started. All right, so I already have my mind pretty much made up about this amplifier, and I'll get into that later on in the video. But before I do that, let's go ahead and just see how all the channels sound on various settings in this amplifier. And I'm going to have it set up the way I like it. I'm always going to have the boost on because I boost all of my amps, and the boost I'm going to be using today is the Mud Killer. And I'm going to leave the effects on when I do the clean channel as well. And the effects I'm using are the Julia chorus pedal along with the Flashback 2 delay pedal. I mean, to me, I'm always going to try amps out with all of the pedals and effects that I use because I want to make sure that they sound good with the amplifier. And if I'm not going to ever use an amp without these pedals, I mean, what's the point of seeing what it sounds like without them, right? So let's go ahead and switch cameras to the clean channel now and do a quick dial in on it and discuss that. And take note to the bottom of the screen here, you'll see that I'm using the Mesa 212 with the Royer 121 mic paired with the Shure SM57. I'll go ahead and take that picture down now because when I put it on the amp, it just looks goofy with the picture of the cab there. Let's go ahead and dial in the clean channel now. Very nice sounding clean channel. It's very warm. This amp seems to be a little on the round side. So if you like the rounder, kind of warmer sounds, then you would like this a lot. And it seems like that also on the high gain channels, and I'll get into that in a minute. But let's go ahead and turn some knobs here and see what we got. Okay, so it's a very pleasant, great sounding clean channel. Not the best clean channel I have here on the shelves, but it definitely has a really nice sound to it. It's very usable, very good sounding. So if you want to brighten it up a little bit, let me switch cameras, you just want to adjust the presence up a little bit, and it takes some of that roundness out and back down the lows a hair, and you're good to go. All right, so this clean channel also has a crunch mode. So let's go ahead and show you that now. So I'm going to turn on the drive boost, which is available on each channel. I'm using the foot switch here to do that. And it's on now, and I'm also boosting it with the Mud Killer because, again, I would always use a boost anyways. So with the Mud Killer combined with the crunch mode on the clean channel, it actually sounds like a good classic rock kind of crunch channel. So let's hear it now. Not bad. I mean, it's a decent classic rock channel, and if you want that nice kind of stiff, crunchy kind of sound, I mean, it does it really well. It's not a channel I would use. It's not because I don't like it. I just don't play that genre of music. I'm more of a metal guy. I want all the gains and all the madness that amps create. So I would not use that mode, but I just wanted to show it to you in case you wanted to hear that. And like I said, if you play that kind of music, it could work really well for you. So now let's move on to the crunch channel, which is channel 2, or the orange channel, and see what that sounds like. So it's a bit mushy, not bad, but let me dial it in and see if I can make it sound as good as I need it to. All right, not bad. It's still a little on the round side for me, and the gain structure, it's kind of mushy, if that makes sense. And if you crank the gain too much, if you crank the gain past right here, you're going to get a bit of a mushy sound. And if you have it up here, you don't have enough saturation. I'll show you that right now. Let's find the sweet spot on the gain. So yeah, like I was saying, if you go past like 2 o'clock on here, it gets kind of mushy. So does it have enough gain to do rhythms with? Yeah, but the gain structure, it's a little soft and a little bit mushy for me. It doesn't have that really nice attack that I like, at least in this channel. Again, we're on the crunch channel. Now this amp does have a built-in boost, so let's see how that sounds. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the mud killer now and just try out the built-in boost on the crunch channel and just see if I can make it sound better with that. Yeah, I think the built-in boost is actually pretty good. What you want to do, in my opinion anyways, is just crank both knobs. And then the tone knob will give it that extra bite that it's missing. I think that could work. Let's go ahead and switch back to the mud killer, and I'll crank the tone knob on that a little bit and see if that either matches it or sounds better. So we're going to go ahead and turn the boost off, turn the mud killer back on, and I'll crank the knob as I'm playing here and see where I like it. actually prefer the mud killer with the tone knob cranked all the way up on the orange channel, or channel 2 on this amplifier. It added that little extra bite that I was looking for. So if you have this amplifier and you're boosting it with an external boost like the mud killer or anything else, try cranking your tone knob all the way up, or somewhere between noon and all the way up, and see if you can find the sweet spot that'll give it that bite that you're looking for, if you're looking for some bite. So it seemed to fix it a little bit. So now that I've done that, let's mess with the gain structure. Now that I have some more bite, maybe that mushiness will go away when I add a little more saturation to the amplifier. Yeah, that definitely did the trick. I could actually get away with turning the gain up more and it not getting mushy with cranking the tone knob all the way up on my mud killer, and it added that bite, and it kind of balanced out the mush and the bite, you know, and cleaned up the gain a little bit and made it just a little more articulate. So try that trick. I think that you would really like the results. Let me play a few more riffs on the amp, turn the knobs a little bit more in these settings, and let's see if we can make it sound even better. Yeah, I think that's about as mean as I could get that channel to sound, and it actually sounds much better now, at least to my taste. So here are the settings right here. So I ended up cranking the presence up to around 3 o'clock, backed the highs down a little, added a little more mids, and I brought the lows and the resonance up as well, because, you know, I found that when you're cranking the tone knob on at least the mud killer and probably most other overdrive pedals, you're basically adding some highs in a certain area that you want to balance out with the amplifier. So bringing up the low end a little bit might help with that, and adding some mids depending. So now some overdrive pedals actually add a mid spike to the amplifier, and you know, maybe you'll want to back the mids down a little bit. So it just depends on your pedal. They all do different things. In fact, you know what? I do have the precision drive here, and let's go ahead and try Misha's pedal with Misha's amp and see how that sounds. So I'm going to switch from the mud killer to the precision drive, and let's see where we're at. Yeah, that actually sounds really good as well. And I noticed one thing with the precision drive is it does have a little bit of a spike in it. And I think that works really well with this amplifier because, again, this amplifier is a little on the soft side. It's a little rounder on the top end. And that spike kind of helps it get that bite and that aggressiveness that you're looking for in this amp. So I can see why he designed the pedal the way he did because, I mean, obviously this is his signature amplifier and he wants a pedal that's going to work really well with it. And I feel like the precision drive is a good pairing with this amp. So let's go ahead and keep that pedal on for the rest of the video because I feel like, you know, it's pretty optimal for this amp. Not saying that the Mudkiller's not. The Mudkiller also did a great job with it, but for the rest of the video, let's go ahead and keep the precision drive on and go from there. So I think we're about as good as we can get on the crunch channel. So let's go ahead and move over to the lead channel and dial that in. Now we're talking. I mean, that channel is the best out of the two high gain channels in this amplifier. I noticed right away when I started playing it, I had that nice bite and that attack on the top end, and it was more responsive, had, you know, it was just a little crispier, and it just sounded great. So that's the money channel on this amplifier as far as I'm concerned. If I was playing this amp live, I would use channel 3, or the lead channel, for both rhythm and lead. You know, I just think it has all the characteristics I would want out of a high gain channel. Let's see how it sounds with some leads though. Let's make sure it's not too aggressive and too sharp for leads with these settings. Again, here are the settings, you know, right here. Now this amp does have a shared EQ, which is a little bit of a bummer. Not a deal breaker, but it's kind of a bummer because both channels are pretty different from each other, and the things that I would want to put in the crunch channel to give it more bite might be too extreme for the lead channel. So at this point I would have to make a choice between which channel I'm going to play, which again I would play the high, you know, the lead channel on this amplifier anyway. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and see what a lead sounds like on it now. So it's a great sounding lead channel. I think it's got enough gain and enough texture and bite for great sounding leads without being too over the top. Now, one thing I want to mention is the master boost is on and the levels cranked all the way up. That's really how people say you want to run this amplifier because it sounds optimal in those settings. That being said, if you have the master boost on, when you're using at least these pedals that I'm using, like the Flashback 2 pedals in the loop for effects, you're going to get that, I don't know what you want to call it, but a bunch of extra noise with the pedals. You know, you heard it when I was playing that lead riff. You know, you could hear all that kind of extra noise around everything. But when you turn the master boost off, that goes away. So I guess you'll have to make a decision on what you want as far as, do you want cleaner repeats on your pedals when you're running them through the loop on this amplifier, or do you want the amp to sound super optimal while using the master boost? Now, maybe with digital effects that wouldn't happen, but at least with what I'm dealing with here with these pedals, I'm getting that extra noise, and it's a little annoying. I would probably choose to not use the master boost because I don't like that noise, you know, going on around my repeats. It just sounds really bassy and weird. So let's go ahead and turn the master boost off and dial in the amp without it and just see if I can make it sound good without it and have a happy medium here. I honestly have tried it both ways and I don't notice a huge difference, but some people claim that if you don't use it with the master boost, you're not dialing it in right. So it's off now. Let's see what it sounds like with it off on, well, let's start with the crunch channel. Let's just go back to channel 2. And I might have to bring the volume up a little bit, so bear with me a second here, and we'll dial it in without it. I think it sounds fine without it, so I'm going to leave it off, and I think that way my effects are going to sound a lot better. So let's go ahead and see if that's true. Let's switch to channel 3, so I'm on the lead channel now. Let me turn on my effects, and now let's see what the lead sounds like without the master boost on. Yeah, in my opinion, that sounds much better. The effects sound way better with the master boost off. So let's thicken up the channel a little bit. I think it needs a little more thickness. Maybe the master boost thickens it up a little bit. I don't freaking know. I'm not one of those YouTubers that pretends to know everything. All I know is what I'm hearing. So let's mess around with this channel now that we have the boost, you know, the master boost off, and see if we can thicken it up a little bit. Yeah, not bad. That's a little thicker. My freaking guitar went out of tune a little bit there. That's what happens when you're doing the shreddy shreds. But yeah, so far I think I like it better without the master boost on. You know, I'm a big effects guy. I love having my effects. And if I can't have effects sounding good through an amplifier, it drives me nuts. You know, I have to have nice, clean delay repeats and all that. I don't like all that extra noise coming behind them. It's just like murky water. It's just really filthy sounding, and I don't really care for it. But yeah, so again, channel 3 on this amplifier is the money channel. I would use it for both rhythms and leads. I would boost it with an external boost. I think the internal boost is decent, but I prefer the external boost, you know, and I think the Precision Drive is actually a really good boost for this amplifier, and so is the Mud Killer. And there's so many boosts out there. I think that you would find something on your pedal board that would work really well for you. Also, recap, channel 1, great clean channel. Not the best one I have, but it's still very, very good, very usable. Channel 2, I think it's good, but I prefer channel 3 so much that I wouldn't use channel 2 for very much. Channel 3 to me is the perfect channel for both rhythm and lead. It's got that nice attack, that texture, that aggression, that bite, and that fullness. And you can saturate it really well with the gain, but I don't even have the gain cranked. It's at like 2 o'clock. and it's perfect for rhythms and leads for me anyways, especially when you boost it. But I'm parting ways with this amplifier mainly because I just shot 2 music videos for my upcoming solo album that I'm putting out, and part of the payment, my friend Paul, who did the shooting for me in his production company, was like, he's like, well, hey, you got that Peavey Invective, right? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, how about giving me for part of the payment for these music videos that we're doing for you? And I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. So I'm going to go ahead and deliver this to him this week. Now I'm also going to give him some money along with this amplifier, but I think it's a fair trade for what I'm getting from him, because again, these videos turned out phenomenal. I can't wait to share these videos with you guys. I'm really excited about them. These are the best music videos I've ever been part of, and I've been part of several in my music career, and these are the best ones I've ever done. So these are awesome. Anyway, so that's why I'm parting ways with the Peavey Invective, not because I don't like it, but I figured it was a really good way to save some, some cash and just give this thing to him for these music videos. And but yeah, if you own one of these, try the settings that I did and some of the other options I discussed regarding the tone knob on the overdrive pedal, and even maybe trying a different overdrive pedal like the precision drive with it, and see what you think. Well, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all the support that I'm getting for this channel. And to all the people who have bought my KEMPER profiles and quad cortex captures, I really appreciate you guys as well. It really does go a long way, and it helps keep the lights on here, literally, on the channel. And if you want to support the channel, there's links below. You can join my Patreon. You can get some quad cortex captures or some KEMPER profiles for yourself if you play those units. I'm getting a lot of great feedback on those, and people are really enjoying them, so that really means a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with new episodes. We go live every Sunday night at 7 o'clock and have a great time with you guys, so feel free to join us on one of those live hangs. I always demo something and play a bunch of mixes for you guys. Carrie and I do Q&A with you guys. It's a lot of fun. And if you like the video, please hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. That helps the YouTube algorithm. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up, and I'll see you guys on the next one.